Hey there, guys. I've seen that The Last of Us Season 2 has been getting a lot of hate online, and honestly, it makes no sense. I don't understand how people have refreshed their hate. A lot of people never liked the show from the beginning, so I don't know why they expected Season 2 to be any better. Almost everyone has played the games. Almost everyone has seen what happened in The Last of Us Part 2. The games have been played and we know how the story goes. So where did all these out of the blue expectations come from? I have noticed that there has been a lot of hate that has been directed at Bella Ramsey. She's the actress who plays Ellie in the show, and everyone says that it's because Bella Ramsey does not look like Ellie. And while that is true, let's not act like she's the only person that has been casted wrong. There are so many inconsistencies and very blatant changes that have been done to the show, putting a modern spin on the live action adaptation that was very noticeable from the get-go. To hold on to all that outrage as if you never watched season 1 is wrong, and to solely blame Bella Ramsey for the show being bad is unfair. It's clear that this is not a true adaptation of The Last of Us, and the other thing people need to understand is that these are just a bunch of actors doing their job. There are people just trying to make ends meet. Be mad and direct your outrage at the people who wrote the show, the people who produced the show, and people who cast for the show. Sending hate to the employees doesn't fix anything when you have a problem with the owner of the company. I don't like the show as much as the next person because the show is not true to the source material. That is something that has been clearly apparent ever since trailers and footage of the show have been released. I also have to ask, what did you expect after watching the trailers? I watched a good amount of season 1, and the truth is, the acting is not the problem. The biggest problem is the cast of the show. It doesn't make sense that they went in this direction. I am sure that even they knew that the casting was not accurate. But it looks like they went for popular modern actors as opposed to looking for a good, accurate cast. They chose anyone that has been in a popular streaming service movie or series. And that is just not how you do business. There is only one way to do something, and that is the right way. This also underlines a big issue in Hollywood of not letting new talent have their shot. Always recycling the same actors. This is why you see so many of the same actors in different things. For example, Pedro Pascal is the man who plays Joel in the show, and he is clearly not the same race as Joel, and he is not the only one who is not the same race as the characters in the game. But they race swapped many characters in the show, and with Pedro Pascal, he has been in so many different movies and shows. There is even a trend of people saying that he's in everything. I have never heard of Pedro Pascal before The Last of Us show, and for him, I'm sure this is probably the best his career has ever been because he's getting a lot of roles. But I'm sure the reason why he's in everything is because he's popular, and that's what they're doing with him. But they should really find different people to cast in shows. There are many talented people out there. I would honestly say that they should be given a chance, because The Last of Us adaptation could have easily been a major success if they had just cast the show right. The production looks really good. The only problem with the show is the casting and the writing, and that is like saying the problem is the show itself. When you look at The Last of Us games, it is very clear that they went in different directions. The first game was an award-winning level written game, whereas the second game was a very good mess. The Last of Us Part 2 took away a lot of what made the first game great. And now we see where the problems lie, because the first Last of Us game was not as woke as the second game. And what we are seeing now is what The Last of Us would be like if the whole thing went full woke. The adaptation is a modern depiction of what modern audiences want to see, and it has really hurt The Last of Us franchise, because if you check the sales of the first game and then you check the sales of the second game, you will see that there is a big difference. There was a drastic decline in sales, and that is the same case with adaptation. The adaptation has ignored everything the first game did. This is why even making a second season doesn't make a difference. There is no polishing this turd, as one could say, because you are stuck with the bad show until the end. You know that the actors who are badly cast will be in the show until the end. I wish people would just let the show end. Everyone knows that Season 2 will be the end because in the Last of Us franchise, there are only 2 games, and there isn't much information about a third game. I'm wondering if the performance of the adaptation will have something to do with getting a third Last of Us game. One thing I never asked for was a Last of Us adaptation. This show falls under the curse of video game adaptations not doing well. The amount of video game adaptations that have failed is a lot. One of the biggest issues is that these adaptations usually cost a lot of money to make, when in many cases, the money could have just been used to make the video games better. Are video game adaptations a waste of time? No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that gamers have a very strong attachment to their video games, and The Last of Us was a special game for a lot of people. And then to make The Last of Us Part 2, then make a horrible Last of Us adaptation, has ruined the good image of the first game, and now people hate The Last of Us. And a good question is, will anyone buy another Last of Us game if it comes out? The only thing I can take away from this is, learn how to make good movies and series. The show was doomed from the beginning when they decided to cast the people they chose. They should have done everything accurate to the game. People don't care about the show, they care about the video games. Making the whole franchise about modern ideology is the biggest mistake they could ever make. The second Last of Us game didn't stick to what made the first game so good. Instead, they changed it into something nobody asked for. There is no way people can say that this is how they want to be represented. You have to ask yourself, does my representation fit in the narrative of said media? Should representation be what the whole thing is about? Or should it be a very well written story that focuses on making you forget about reality, that gives you an escape and an emotional attachment to a story and its characters that feel real after experiencing it? Or do you want to constantly be reminded about the harsh realities of life, to buy something to calm down, but only for that thing to make you more angry because it reminds you of everything you're trying to forget? The choice is yours. You can continue to beat a dead horse that was just doing its job in the first place, or you could choose to take your problems up with the people who make such things. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.